Les Brown. We have a really important topic to talk about, and that is the topic of labeling children. So I really want to ask you, I know that you've had some experiences as a child. Can you explain what that was like for you to be labeled as a child? What did that do for you, and how did that really motivate you to be who you are today?
Well, yes. What did it do for me? I can tell you what it did to me.
Yes.
Because when I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable, mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. Mrs. Mary Ford Williams, the principal of Douglas Elementary School in Overtown in Miami, Prairie Court section. Yeah. And I tell you, it was devastating. I'm a twin. Yeah. And so when they put me back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, then I feel again when I was in the 8th grade, and I stayed in special education all that time, being labeled educable, mentally retarded. It affected my self-esteem and my performance. And then a defining moment took place. It was my junior year in high school. I was in an instructor's class, Mr. Leroy Washington, looking for a friend. And he said, "Young man, go and work this problem out for me." I said, "Sir, I can't do that. I'm not one of your students." He said, "Go and do it anyhow." And I said, "I can't." So the other students started laughing because if you're in special education, they call it the Dodo War. They had all kind of names for us. And they said, "He's DT." And he said, "What's DT?" Say, "He's a twin and his brother is smart, but he's DT. He's the dumb twin." Wow. And I said, "I am, sir." And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." And what he literally did was he interrupted the story that I bought into, the story that I believe about myself. And as a result of that interruption when he spoke, now my mother said, "Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you." But that's not true.
That's not true at all.
No, words can hurt very deeply, and it did. I used to fight, but after a while, calling me DT, I began to answer to that. And so I strongly support what it is that you do. I believe that we should not label people, children, we should label jars, because people have different learning styles. So because of that labeling, it affected me throughout my adult life.
And what I love about that story was, first of all, it's horrible, as we know, to say those types of things to children, say you're not going to make it, all the negative things. But there was someone that talked to you and said, "You are not that." And there was someone in your life that, it was, like you said, a pivotal moment. And what do you think really changed? Like, what was the point where you're like, you know what? No, none of this is true because you've achieved so much. What would you say was that moment when you said, "No, I'm not going to listen to any of what people are telling me, but instead I'm going to strive for greatness"?
One of the things that he did, which I copied that in my speaking, he was a speech and drama instructor. And one of the things that you have to do, if you want to interrupt a person's story they will believe about themselves, you must speak with absolute faith. You must have a conviction and hold them in your vision and seeing them as you desire them to be. There's a saying that judge a man not just by what he does, but what he does and he doesn't have to do it. He took the time to speak to me, and he never treated me like I was a dumb kid, like I was the dumb twin. And he looked at me as he wanted me to be, as opposed to what others saw. Yes. He saw something different in me, and I saw that in his eyes. And he had high expectations for me. In special education, when you're labeled educable, mentally retarded, you have low expectations, and no one rises to low expectations. He had high expectations. He challenged me, and as a result of the challenge, I began to get a different vision of myself. In the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, he's one of the first people to start talking about changing one's self-image. He was a doctor who did plastic surgery, and he noticed that many people whose facial features had been changed and they were attractive, but their self-image was still that they were unattractive. And so he did some work on how people can begin to change their vision of themselves. And that became a passion of mine. All these years, at 74, I still love it and do it. And I wanted to do it with words when I speak. So when I speak to corporations and organizations around the world, and let's say they've been labeled as a low-performing department, then when I come in, because of my having that kind of experience, I'm able to interrupt their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter with their lives.
And I really love that, because like you said, it is about our belief systems. Even as you mentioned, as a child, as young, especially for children, the things that we tell them, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a coach, whether you're a parent, whomever you are, whether you're someone in the community, these things matter. The same thing as you mentioned with corporations. If you have a corporation, you have supervisors and CEOs that are putting employees down in these sorts of things. These are belief patterns that are starting to form. But instead, you have done amazing things, and you have motivated people to move past those belief patterns, which is so important. It's hard to do, but it's so important. I know you've done it over and over around the world, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but something you're saying about how important it is. MIT did a study. If I said to you, Dr. Hammond, you can't do that someone else has to come along and say, Dr. Hammond, you can't do it. Dr. Hammond, you can't do it. You can do it 17 times to neutralize that one negative statement.
17 to 1.
So that's why my favorite book says faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So I believe that we need to affirm and validate our kids and each other.
Yes.
And over and over and over again. Because some of us are strong in some areas and weak in others. But the self-image is so very important.
Yes.
And words, in fact, my favorite book says death and life is in the tongue. Because we speak more death than we do life. And we have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. They did a study with some parents in a playground, and they recorded that those parents said to their kids, and these are kids between 0 and 5, stop stupid, there you go again.
Wow.
You just like your father. Look at that jackass there.
Yeah.
And 314 negative, nasty statements. And so those thoughts, those words spoken, they're in the subconscious mind.
Right.
And Dr. Seligman talked about and learned optimism, that between the ages of 0 and 5, we develop permanent personality characteristics.
Right.
And those personalities are shaped by the environment that we're in and the words that are spoken to us.
Right. And that's why, again, as you mentioned, the words that you speak to your children are so important. As you mentioned, 17 to 1. So when your child is in school, hearing they're dumb, hearing they're stupid, hearing their shoes are ugly, and all the negative things that they hear in school and they're being bullied, understand that you have to be the positive one. If you're a parent, again, a teacher, coach, or whomever in their life, you have to be the positive one. It's so sad to me because I don't remember as a child anyone that I knew of that died by suicide because of the words that were spoken to them. Like you said, words can kill.
Yes.
So we need to really be positive, as you said, support one another in this. It's hard, it's different times.
One of my customers, named Terry, her son has autism. And she came to school early one day to see about how her son was doing. His name is Gabriel. And the teacher did not know it. And the teacher's back was to Terry. And she pointed Gabriel out and she said, they don't pay me enough to teach this. And Terry was enraged. On that day, she took Gabriel out of school. She made a commitment, single parent, that she's going to take care of him. She's going to teach him herself. She decided to take care of herself by selling T-shirts. T-shirts called Believe in caps. And she worked with him every day. And one day, after probably two or 3 years, she was exhausted after working with him because they said he'll never be normal, he'll never be able to talk and interact with other kids. She got up and walked away, and he said, "Mama," and she stopped in her track. And that was not even the word that she was working with him on.
Yeah.
And she said, "What did you say?" He said, "Mama." And now he's in senior high school. I talked to him the other day. You would never know that he was autistic.
Wow.
And so I believe that when we have a commitment and a vision, and we look at kids in the vision of seeing them as we want them to be and work toward the manifestation of that vision, let them know that we have high standards for them. hold them accountable, and create an environment of love and positive expectation that people have different learning styles. If you asked me to write you a speech, I could not do that right now. However, I've won the highest award from Toastmasters International, the Golden Gavel Award, inducted into the Hall of Fame of the National Speakers Association, and selected among the top 5 speakers in the world. And so it is, I think, what you're talking about, something that's very important that has not been embraced, but because of you being the drum major, I know people eventually will share the vision of let us speak life and love and high expectation into our children.
Yeah, and I think, first of all, I want to personally say that's really commendable. All of these accomplishments with, again, just growing up, like you said, with people that had low expectations, the negative things that were said, you have overcome that. You are, a vessel of hope, really, because there's so many children, especially with special education. There's so many children that are still to this day in 2018 being told they can't make it, they're stupid, they'll never go anywhere. I had a couple years ago, I had a doctoral student in my office that was told he should go to the military after high school. He's not going to make it because he had a reading disability, and he's about to become a doctor, right? So it's mind-blowing that we're still having these negative conversations, but again, you are a vessel of hope.
I was given a scholarship to go to Florida A&M University in Speech and Drama because this instructor, Mr. Leroy Washington, who taught me someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
Yes.
Several teachers talked me out of it and said, listen, we got your job in the Miami Sanitation Department. You're going to go to Florida A&M and embarrass Mr. Washington. And I believed them.
Yeah.
And they got me a job, earning $10 an hour now.
Yeah.
Because I saw Mr. Washington when I was collecting the garbage in the area where he lived, and he said, what happened to you? I helped you to get a scholarship. You're the first student in special education to receive that.
Wow.
And I told him about the meeting with the teachers, and he said something to me that brought me back to reality. He said, sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. He said, Mr. Brown, you have something special.
Nice.
You have greatness in you.
Yeah.
Once again, he interrupted me. Thank God he did. Thank God he saw me on that day.
Yes.
Now I earn $70,000 an hour.
Yes. Exactly. Good.
Oh, behave. Whatever.
That's a great thing. So before we end, what is your biggest piece of advice to anyone listening to this about how to achieve success? What is your biggest tip? If nothing else fails, what would you say as far as achieving
3 things
success?
is very important. Number 1, work on your mindset.
Okay.
Earl Nightingale said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. They did a study of some top achievers around the world, and they found that all of them achieved their success because of their attitude, their mindset, their confidence, 15% because of their aptitude. The second thing that's very important is developing communication skills. Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So he said, invest in developing your communication skills. And the third thing, practice OQP, only quality people. I literally copied my way to success. I went to a class reunion and I thanked so many students. Thank you for sitting close to me so I can see your paper. He said, watch what successful people do and do what they do.
Yeah.
And I believe that to this day. And I've studied Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, and Zig Ziglar, see you at the top. I copied him.
It works. It works.
Yeah, people rub off on you. You run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you become number 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much for your encouraging words. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If people want to find out more information about you,
Then you can go to lesbrown.com. LesBrown.com. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. You have something special. You have greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Special thank you to Les Brown. For more information, visit lesbrown.com.